The next question is from Krista Ray. Dear Sat Shree, please speak about what it's like to come to the end of one's samskaras. Is this possible as long as we have a body? Some yogic traditions say it's not. How do we know when our actions are motivated by the divine within and not from samskaras? With love and gratitude, Krista.
Well, good question, Krista. And the nature of the falling away of the samskara is the quieting of the vital. That's the evidence of it. That means there's less pull to the world in a way. There's less interest in relationship, less interest in money, less interest in what people think of you, less interest in all the other things that were previously important. And I know you've gone through much of that. So that's the important. Those are the samskaras. The vital holds the drives. So the samskaras are the drives. But we can evoke them or their residue. I mean, what happens with the completion of samskaras, it completes for this life. But we also have the parabolic karmas, that the ones we haven't met in this life, because we were a woman versus a man, or in one situation versus another situation. So what happens when you begin to complete the samskaras of this life, your outer life starts falling apart, but then you start meeting the samskaras, the deeper samskaras that were not destined to be worked out this life. And that's why this whole path, you'll be working with structures. They may not seem like yours because you won't be familiar with them from this life, but you'll pick them up from other people. And those are showing the remaining samskaras that you carry in the long evolutionary journey of all the lives you've lived. And they will show up, but you will be able to move through them quickly because you don't have the this lifelong identity with those. So there is what we call a lightening up of those samskara otherwise distorting qualities, but fundamentally you're going to be working with these as long as you're embodied. And that's the advantage of this life. You want to be able to burn through sufficient quantum. You know, it's like an iceberg, right? We only know this life in our awareness, so we only know it with a fraction of our consciousness. So once our awareness starts expanding and starts penetrating in and starts truncating that iceberg, and we begin to meet the deeper structures. At some depth, our parabolic karma is very linked to the collective consciousness. So the difference between issues that come from other people that aren't ours and our parabolic karmas are almost indistinguishable, because it's where we share the same issues with all kinds of other human beings that maybe we would have never encountered in our human life. So yeah, you're going to always have to be alert to the parts of yourself that get pulled into some echo or some structure that you haven't met this life. And I assure you, you don't have to worry about those. The more where you are now, enough energy is coming into your system that the universal forces will dissolve these samskaras without you having to do anything, but notice them arising as an event in your body and not try to figure them out, make a story of them, or believe that that's your next purpose in life, to be something that comes from those impressions or those inclinations. So the idea here is to stay simple, to do what's in front of you that's working in your own experience. Stay steady in that process, and then you'll carve your way through that arena of your own samskaras and parabolic karmas that are still maybe distracting you or taking you this way or that way. How do you do that? Well, you know, as long as I'm living, I'm like a light beam in your life, which will give you a sense, this is true and this is not true. This is me, this is not me. And the me you're looking for is that eternal principle of I amness that's here purposefully to serve the world. So when you're in line with your purpose and your aspiration is burning in you and ignited, that itself will dissolve anything that is a problem in terms, it'll convert everything that arises into alignment with your purpose. So it's also that. All right, good question.